Hello, welcome back. Yeah, I was trying to move some things around. You know how it is. Yes, Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Meredith. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can catch us every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 right here on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. So right before the break, we were talking about things going on this weekend, right? But I know I wanted to also, of course, we have to discuss the impending holiday, right? We
Yes.
got special Thanksgiving coming up. And if you've been tuning in, you'll know that Jennifer has a special love to Thanksgiving. In fact, we try not to bring up the other holiday. I try to dance around it because
You can say Christmas.
okay, thank you. Whew. All right, yes. Jennifer loves Christmas, but she doesn't like that Thanksgiving kind of gets overlooked. So
Exactly.
we're going to do a couple weeks of Thanksgiving love, okay? And it just, of course, everybody's getting ready for this upcoming week. It's going to be great, right? So we also have a special Thanksgiving show coming next week for a lot of our listeners. You're going to want to tune in. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
It's going to be a little hairy. It's going to be a little messy.
It's going to be a lot hairy.
We'll watch it. Okay. So that being said, nice, exciting. That Thanksgiving is something we always look forward to. But what about some of those things that are like the most memorable, right? So I wanted us to kind of hit up some of our top 3 most memorable Thanksgivings. And I know it's a little different because usually we spin it on our guest. And today, by the
Right.
way, we've got Mark Cook with Green Zone Housing coming
Yes.
up. You're going to want to stay tuned. This organization is making such a great impact in such a short amount of time because they have the best mission ever to help veterans in a unique way. They want them to get involved with it. So, definitely stay tuned to hear more about it. But
Yes.
go into our top 3
Yes.
Thanksgiving memories. I want to know your favorites.
Okay.
All right, number 1.
Yeah, none of them are probably going to be super exciting. They're just ones that really stick out in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
So the first one is we went to Tennessee for Thanksgiving. I've never been anywhere for Thanksgiving except Texas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you talked about that time. Yeah.
And I have been away from my mom for Thanksgiving. Well, when I was in law enforcement, I was away from my mom for Thanksgiving a couple of times because I had to work.
Uh-huh.
But besides law enforcement, I have only not spent Thanksgiving with my mom one time.
Aww.
And it's when I was married and we went to see his family for Thanksgiving. So yeah, Jensen and I went with my mom and dad to Tennessee for Thanksgiving. I think it was 2 years ago. It was a lot of fun. Road trip.
Oh, yeah.
We drove. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun.
Aw, well, and, those special memories, because that, too,
And I still got to go Black Friday shopping. So
in Tennessee?
In Tennessee.
How was it? Was it the same style in a way that is
when
here?
we went to the mall, it was crazy, but we went to like Michael's and a couple of other places, and it was pretty low key. It was not too bad.
See, that's cool. Well, and plus I'm always curious how other communities, and the hype around stuff like that, if they get excited, because you see the videos of New York.
We didn't
Walmart.
go to Walmart.
Yeah.
It probably would have looked the same in East Tennessee as it does here in Texas.
Kind of crazy town. Well, I don't know. Some of the New York videos, like when they're like standing there, hundreds of people, I'm like, Texans, I feel like we're just kind of like in a single file line. Nobody's going to tackle anybody. Like, let's just all make it through.
Right.
Those fast walkers, let them get to the left, let them go by. Like, let's treat this highway style,
Right.
That's so funny. So, yeah, no, and I love that because, actually, I have a special love for Tennessee today. We'll get to that in the 9 o'clock hour. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So, I love Thanksgiving because, of course, the memories. But one of my more memorable actually is related to Black Friday, okay?
Okay.
Growing up, my extended family, like my aunt and my grandmother, they would get it ready for it, and I never really caught on. I was like, whatever. It wasn't a thing. We never did it, right? So fast forward to when my son's maybe 2 years old and I got into it. I was like, okay, let me try this one time. So I made arrangements. Chris made him come over so he could stay with my little man so I could go try this, which is hilarious in itself because nothing says love like coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning so you can be there on the couch for I was like, thank you, I love you. And he's like, and he just goes to sleep and watches, and then he got up with Jack later. But anyway, so I go out and I do a couple places. I don't know where exactly, because the most memorable is this. I go to Kohl's. I'm going in Kohl's, I get all this stuff, and I stay in the line. Anybody that does the Black Friday, it's really exciting until the line factor. And
yes,
then the line,
you're like for 2 hours standing in line.
Yeah, it totally like negates the entire hype in the like crazy town, and then you're sitting there for like an hour in like totally patient mode, trying to get through so you can go to the next place. So I'm standing in line. It's a long line, but Kohl's, they had their act together. They were getting us through, shuffle, get to the front. And the woman's looking at my stuff. She was like, here. And gave her my purse. And I said, this is, everything I want. And she was like, well, it doesn't have a tag. I was like, I did not know that. I didn't realize it. But I was like, it's the only one. Can you just scan this and da-da-da? She was like, well, it doesn't have a tag. Just go. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I'm like, clearly looking for a security camera. Like, you're seeing this, right? Like, this is not just me, okay? I'm like, right? You're watching me, right, guys? I'm like, she said, yeah, just go. Because they were trying to keep it going.
Yes.
And Mama was hooked. I was like, what? I got a free purse? What? And that's how they get you. So for years later, 2 or 3 years later, I kept going back. Not only to Kohl's, because that's what you do.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
But to other places too. So anyway.
You know the secret to navigating the line, don't you? You take someone else with you. One person goes in and stands in line. The other person goes off to get stuff. And then you come back and you switch.
Ooh.
And I mean, of course, if you're standing there and you have nothing and there's people that come up and they're ready to check out, you let them go ahead of you.
Yeah.
But you're still kind of holding your place in line.
Maybe we need to do it together, because I go solo because I didn't want anybody holding me back. Like, I don't need, I go one speed.
Okay.
And
I want to go to Kohl's, but I also want to go to Ulta.
Oh, I want to try Ulta. I always, like, they're a little holiday thing. I need to investigate Ulta more. Sorry, totally random squirrel. Look, you did that one.
I'm totally obsessed with Ulta. My favorite store.
All right, let's stay on track because we'll get to that in the 9 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
We're going to talk about Ulta. I need some tips. I need to know what's up. Okay, so back to the top 3.
Yes.
What is another Thanksgiving memory you love?
My great-grandmother always made dressing for Thanksgiving.
Dressing,
Christmas,
like
whatever.
stuffing dressing.
Yes, but it's called dressing because it's not stuffed in the bird.
Okay.
So it's not stuffing.
I just wanted to clarify.
I'm clarifying for you. Anyway, I cannot say that there's anything super special about her recipe. It was just nobody knew how to make it except my grandmother. And so, of course, my great-grandmother has passed. My granny is still with us, physically, anyway. But yeah, so my mom is the only other person that knows how to make it. And she taught me how to make it.
Oh, she did.
She did. So my mom and I are the only ones in our family that know how to make grandma's cornbread dressing. Like I said, there's really nothing super special about it, but it was her recipe. So it's special to us.
Oh.
And yeah, so I remember my first Thanksgiving that my mom asked me to make the dressing.
Oh, how exciting.
So I was so nervous. I mean, and I was really concerned with what my grandmother thought of it. So, like the next day, I'd like watch her take a bite and I'd be like, how is it? What do you think? Is it good? Is it grandma's? Is it?
That is so adorable. Did you pass the test?
I did. I make it every year now.
Yay. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, kudos to you. That's so exciting. Yes. Well, and I couldn't help. Well, you're telling the story. It reminded me of that episode on Friends when Phoebe had that special chocolate chip cookie and it ended up at the end. They were like, Toll House.
Yes.
Toll House. Nothing special.
Toll House.
Oh, so blooming cute. No, that is really good. In fact, that's kind of similar to one of mine is when a similar situation Now, in our family, you know, being Lebanese, the Thanksgivings when we really brought it out, I know that's wild, but my Lebanese side of the family is who we had Thanksgiving with,
Right.
For, you know, most of that holiday. So,
And we talked about that last week.
yeah, so making the tabbouleh is a big deal.
Yes.
And when my aunt taught me and I was partaking in all of the, you know, the whole recipe and everything, it was fantastic.
Yes.
And the next year, I actually did it as one of my first TV videos for one of my projects, like a cooking.
Yeah.
But the funny thing, and the reason this stems back to Thanksgiving is because we showed it the next year at Thanksgiving, and my grandmother almost fell out because I went to school at SFA, so Nacogdoches. I couldn't find any fresh mint, so I had to get mint extract. And let's just say that to 100% Lebanese woman, when you're doing tabbouleh, and she was like, what? It was the funniest thing. And looking back, I was like, Sitty, like, oh my goodness. She was, so I became pretty much, you know, kind of the joke for a couple years in the family because of my tabbouleh making on video, which is forever, you know, forever on VHS, which is great because nobody could see it now. But yes, it was hilarious.
I have a VCR.
Do you?
I do.
Don't know where the tape is though. Sorry. Boop, boop. But yes, that's one of my more memorable things. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. All right, back to your top three.
I love your sweet little face.
You want to just squeeze it and hit it.
Just want to paint your little cheeks.
Oh.
Okay, the last one, since you brought up Black Friday, or I brought up Black Friday, whoever. My first time to go Black Friday shopping. Jensen was 11 months old.
Right.
And, yeah, Jason said, come on, let's go Black Friday shopping. And I was like, I don't know, because we do not have bail money, you know. I don't want to have to call my mom from, you know, and he's like, we're not going to jail. And I'm like, I hear all these stories about Black Friday, and I'm like, I'm not going to be trying to fight somebody for a trampoline or something, you know, and for a $4 toaster.
I'm so glad you clarified because I'm like, what kind of shopper are you? You're like,
Yeah,
the first thing shopping
exactly.
you think of is,
Going to
look, I
jail.
don't have bail money, so before we go shopping.
Exactly. He's like, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be bad. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, but take your flip-flops off and put your tennis shoes on. And I'm like, okay.
That's serious business in Texas.
Exactly. He's like, put your flip-flops on. So, yeah, we went out and he ended up cutting his hand open. Only because he had the thing that he was trying to get had, you know, one of those bands around it, and he had hooked his hand through there so that he could pull it when they pulled the tape off and said go.
Hold on. Let's back up just a sec. When they pull the
Well,
tape
I mean, you know,
off,
they usually have the saran wrap around the things, and then they come by and they'll cut it so you can go take the stuff.
Sure.
When it's time or whatever. And anyway, so the guy on the other side did not know that he had his hand hooked through there. And he went to pull that box. And so it cut Jason's hand open.
Oh.
But Jason still got that box.
Man,
So,
what was in the box?
I can't tell you.
All right.
Because there are little ears listening.
Deal. Okay, well, it must have been an important box, and I'll tell you something. When you have an injury like that, I hope you got a deal.
You know what? It was a great deal. And as it turns out, luckily that particular shipment was right over by the Band-Aids. So we just grabbed a box of Band-Aids on our way back, and so
that's the mark of a true shopper. Just keep going, man.
Just keep going.
Raise that hand.
I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine. Just grab that box of Band-Aids. Let's go.
That's so fun.
But it hooked me on Black Friday shopping.
So you've been hooked ever since?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good to know. So maybe
Yes.
we can do something. Well, I don't know if I'm going this year actually, but anyway, because that's another thing. Okay, so this is my number 3.
Come on with it.
Now, I began with my love for Black Friday shopping, and I'm going to end with something that ended my Black Friday shopping. After years of being hooked and finding, the hype and watching everybody get crazy, it was fun. One year I said, I'm going to go bold. I'm going to Toys R Us. And that ruined Black Friday for me forever. I was in Sugar
Toys R
Land.
Us is closing, so.
Is it for real?
Yes.
For real, for real?
Yes.
Because they say stuff like that all the time. Like Sears has ultimately tried to close a few times, and it's not. But anyway, Toys R Us. Went there a few years ago for the Sugar Land and area. I was living out there in the Sugar Land area, and I've got to tell you that it definitely broke me because there were so many people, and in the middle of it, like some of the cash registers weren't working, all this stuff, complete chaos, and I saw some meanness around some other people, and I was like, you know what, this is it. So I have not done it ever since, and it's because it's not worth the crazy. I love crazy fun, but not crazy drama. And it became crazy drama that year. And
yes.
It was just too much. So now I just do a little clickety-click. A little click. And that's my online shopping.
Online.
Yeah. So that is my top 3 memorable. There's, of course, many more, but those are the more notable. A lot of them, the other ones in my life are kind of cheesy and sweetness, We don't want to bring too much cheese. I got to save it for later, right? What are you doing? You're all engrossed on your phone. Who's talking to you?
I'm on social media.
Oh, that's right.
And by the way, Honey said, Mayor, beware of Ulta.
What? See, I love their little collection gifts.
Okay.
Look, you know what I'm saying, the Christmas
Let
things?
me quickly tell you this, why she's saying that. I love Ulta. She knows I love Ulta. So last year, she was going to go get me some stuff from Ulta to stuff in my stocking, because that's what we do for each other, is we stuff each other's stocking. She said she walked in and almost broke out in hives because she's like, oh my God, I have no idea where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to get. So she said she looked over and there was their little display or whatever of their stocking stuffers that was like 5 for $5. So she went over and grabbed a bunch of that stuff and went straight to the register and said, I need a gift card.
That is so funny.
She said it just totally freaked her out. She's like, I have no idea where to go.
So
now when she goes, I have to take her.
Oh, to help with
so I can help navigate her. So I'm like, just tell me what you need. Okay, So she's like, hey, I got to run by Ulta and get something. Do you want anything? And I'm like, I'll go by myself.
That's too funny.
I don't want you to have to look for it.
And it's danger zone in there because everything is so enticing. It's like a fancy Sally Beauty. You like go in, you see all this stuff. You want to touch it and everything. And they encourage you to, which makes it really tough.
Yes.
So I love it there. I have not tried the Black Friday. I might be open to it. We'll see. Maybe with you, because I'd love to see your style. Obviously, I'll bring a first aid kit and bail money. So we're covered in both those areas. But
I've never needed it. It wasn't so bad. After that first time and I actually went out and experienced it, it wasn't bad.
Oh, okay. Well, I was kind of getting excited. So, all right.
Well, with me, anything is possible.
Oh, okay, good. We're back on. Okay, good. It's possible.
With me, anything is possible.
All right. Well, I've got such a great guest coming up next because Mark Cook, I was going to say Wood.
Yeah.
Mark Cook with us, Green Zone Housing. It's such a great nonprofit organization in our community. Been together or really been in operation for a little bit over a year, but made such a huge impact and has so much going on. I cannot wait to hear all about it. So why don't y'all stay tuned? We're going to come back, take a quick break. When we come back, Mark's going to fill us in on everything that organization's doing and how you can make a difference with them. All right. So stay tuned. It's more of Grit and Grace with Jennifer and Merideth coming up next.